Sharper Point Commentary, presented by Schwartz Laser Eye Center.
We've lost so many teachers over the last few years. We need to get a grip on how to grip onto the ones we still have in Arizona. We may end up with a Lord of the Flies situation. Kids teaching kids. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but a lot of the adults who are acting as educator placeholders, as smart as they may be about any particular subject of study, don't have the training necessary to maintain order in a classroom so that real learning can take place. And there are a lot of non-teachers teaching right now in Arizona. The school districts and charter schools that responded to a staffing survey from the Arizona School Personnel Administrators Association reported that 30% of teaching positions are unfilled across the state, and 53% of those vacancies are filled by people who do not meet the state's standard teaching certification requirements. But it could get worse. And that's why Governor Katie Hobbs created an educator retention task force. And they teamed with the Arizona State University's Morrison Institute for Public Policy to conduct an educator working condition study. They just released their findings on what will retain teachers. Very needed, because one of the things their study showed is that nearly 70% of current educators say they have considered leaving not just their job, but the teaching profession altogether at some point in the past 12 months. What do we need to provide teachers to get them to stay, other than say pretty please with sugar on top? Well, as tired as you may get of hearing it, pay was a top issue for teachers, but this is not just them saying they deserve commensurate pay for working 10 months a year, commensurate with those of us who work 12 months a year. They actually work a lot of hours beyond their classroom time when they actually are working.
One is salary. And particularly not just like the starting salary, but also sort of feeling like they're being compensated for the additional hours and duties that they are taking on, where, you know, teachers are saying, I show up to school at 6:45 in the morning and I don't leave until 7 p.m.
Yeah, and the spending that goes on the weekends in their classrooms, I've seen this firsthand with my wife, is a big suck on their salary as well. Now, that, by the way, was Allison Cook Davis with the Morrison Institute. Money helps, but it is not the complete solution. I've mentioned money's helped my household because my wife, who's been named Arizona's Teacher of the Year in 2 different categories, feels like she's finally earning a decent living, but she knows that just throwing a bunch of bucks at the problem will mean that bad teachers will also catch some cash. And she's worked with lots of bad teachers. So we need to look at just some other issues as well, like who's in charge of our teachers?
School leadership, and that being an important factor for retention and recruitment, because having good leadership also creates stability in schools.
And one of the things that any teacher will tell you is they need administration that backs them up on classroom discipline so they can get to teaching the kids who are there to be taught, as opposed to the kids who are there, sometimes through no fault of their own, to get in the way of teaching. You know, really, this survey doesn't show much that's very surprising. It's about pay, and it's about being supported by management and being provided with the tools you need to do your job. The things all of us want to do a good job. So maybe it's just a little common sense that we need to be taught to retain teachers.
Thanks for watching Sharper Point. Click to see more from Arizona's Morning News and tap the button in the middle to subscribe.